Hey everybody, it's a very gloomy, snowy Friday afternoon here in Ontario, and I thought I would give you a little tour of the plants I have in my kitchen south window, which is this big door. We have a few more here, and there's my south window, and then here is my east window. There's another little one there. I thought we'd have a look at what's in there and see if there's anything that you like. Let's start here. This is a south-facing door, which I'm blessed for. We added this when we did the kitchen reno. And in this window, I have plants here, but we're not going to cover those this time. Let me know if you're interested in a full tour or a tour of the rest of the kitchen or the house, and I'll definitely do that. So here we have my wonderful, amazing Ficus elastica ruby that I just love. Look at the size of this new leaf. She's beautiful. She comes out so red, and you can find these very cheaply. She comes out so red and then slowly fades to a pinky cream and then all the way down to cream and green. But I love her. I love her very, very much. Next to her on the floor here, well, she's on a little stand, we have my hoya. I think it's Windowsill. I'm gonna add all the names on. This is a large plant, and she has interesting splashing, but it's very muted in tone, and you can see some raised veinage there. She's got lots of vines and lots of new growth. She's just a very easy, chill hoya. And you can see she enjoys the south window. No sun stressing, but she does well. Next to her, I don't actually know the idea of this hoya. She has beautiful, big, deep green leaves. She's also one of my bigger hoyas, and I just lost the ID, but I love her. This is a hoya that when she's putting out a new leaf or new growth, it always comes with lots of little fibers, and I'm always worried that she has mealybugs. I check her like maybe twice a week just to make sure those white little fluff balls are not mealybugs. But a really nice hoya, very firm, hard car-body leaves. No splashing, but obviously she's gonna start to give some. This is the biggest leaf I think that she's given me. Actually, I see another one down here. It's a nice size too. And then next to her we have my Hoya pubicolix splash that is very, she's doing great. She's got lots of new growth. But I think she might enjoy a little less light. You see how yellow or light colored those leaves are? But I actually really enjoy her. This is, if I lift her up so she's not fully in the light, she's more of a lime green as opposed to this deep dark green. And I mean, she has some leaves that have just spectacular splashing on them. That one down there, look. And then hiding behind, we have my booby cactus hiding down there, and my rat's tail cactus that's given me a little baby look. Cuckoo. Yeah, my booby cactus just chills out there. I'd like to unpot her. She doesn't have drainage. She doesn't have drainage, and you can see at the bottom, it is hard, it's not mushy, but I'd just like to have a look at her and see how she's doing. And then we have my window shelf. I always get questions about this shelf. It was just a very cheap shelf from Etsy. But I like that it's clear so that the light goes through. Let's start with the bottom. So here we have, I recently just chopped her. This is Hoya australis Lisa. This was a 2-leaf cutting from Eloise at Plentiful Minds, and she's a great grower and just beautiful. New leaves come out really nice and red. Next to her we have my Potsy who's just starting. I moved her recently into the south window and she seems to be enjoying it, so there's some new growth there. But she does have interesting splashing on her leaves for sure, and she's pretty. There's a new vine there, look, with new leaves coming off. And then we have, again, I've taken lots and lots of cuttings of this. This was sold to me as Kentiana variegata, but you know, there is some, is it Windowsill or Kentiana? My experience is that the Windowsill variegated is not as frilly as this, not as thin. It's much chunkier leaves, and the variegation on the Windowsill variegated that was sold to me as Windowsill variegated is much more yellow than pink. But yeah, I really love this one. She's so pretty. And then this is Hoya Susie Q. And I chopped her recently. I was doing an experiment to see how she would do. And actually she has put out a new growth point. You can see down here. And the cutting is doing amazing. I'll be taking her to the plant show this weekend. Another one that I really like. This is a Carnosa. I'm not sure if it's a spot or a cultivar, but another interesting Hoya. And then next to her we have Hoya australis outer variegated. So the one I showed you over here is inner, and this one is outer variegated, and she is loving life here in this window. This vine, see how she's turning that vine up. But we have new leaves coming, and these two new leaves here. Yeah, pretty little Hoya. So that's that window. And then moving up, we have my teeny tiny little, oh my gosh, Hoya serpens. I have two vines in here that I got as literally one leaf on each. One was just serpens and one was sold to the seller as splash, but I don't really care. I really love small leaved Hoyas, so it's just nice to have it. And she's doing okay. I still don't think I found the perfect spot for her, but we'll figure that out. And then next to her we have Hoya Sunrise. I have a couple of these around the house. They're fast growers. This one hasn't sun stressed. I have some very sun stressed ones. I do enjoy this plant very much. Lots of new growth coming there. She's, yeah, she's lovely. Very chill, easygoing plant. And then Miss Curtsy, I always get those wrong. Very cheap Hoya, guys. If you see one of these, you have to pick it up. I bought this as a small little 2-inch pot. Fast grower. These are really long vines that I've just curled around into a little nest. And she does sun stress in this window. You can see some of her leaves have got that purpley blush to it, and the backs are very purpley too. And she's just, I mean, I love the pot she's in also, but she's a wonderful Hoya. And a great trailing Hoya too. And then next to her we have my Silver Lady, who has been struggling a little bit with new leaves dropping. So I did transfer her into pond from soil, and I moved her here to get natural light, and she seems to be doing okay. That is a new leaf. Let me just tip you up. This is a new leaf here, and it doesn't seem to be struggling, so fingers crossed that she likes it here and she likes the pond. And then I know this looks really this leaf looks really sad, but this leaf has given me this vine, and this is Archboldiana outer variegated. And let me turn around and see if we can see. I haven't actually checked if this new vine has any variegation. What do you think? Maybe, yeah, maybe she's gonna have some rimming. So she is going to go to the plant show for sale because I have another big, I have a big plant of this on my Hoya shelf. So this one will be going for sale. So that is my middle shelf. And then up here we have little Dischidia Ionthia, I think, the variegated Dischidia, which again is just a very easygoing plant and really lovely. This is a spring plant to me with the lighter green and white variegation. And then next to her we have my Peperomia Hope that one of the joys in my life is Miss Peperomia Hope. I've had her for a long time. She was teeny tiny. I've had her trellised and now trailing, and she can take a lot more direct sun than I think most people think. And I treat her very much like I treat my Hoya. And then we have Hoya Mathilde. This one has struggled a lot. I have cuttings of her rooting right now. She has lots of peduncles. There's one here. Like, she has a lot of them. She has bloomed a lot. But I find she is way thirstier than my other Hoya. And, you know, needs watering for me like 2 or 3 times a week to stay happy. Otherwise you're gonna get, or I get, dry rot. I hope some of her leaves are very splashy, some of them not so much, you know. But she's a happy little plant right now. And then next to her we have another joy, a surprise joy. This is Hoya IR26. She's in Pawn, and I'm completely smitten with her. Her leaves are nice and firm. She does sun stress, so new growth comes out this, you can see here, it's almost like an orangey pink color, but in the summer she was very pinky purple. I see one that I can show you. This one's kind of a little there, look. And she has that beautiful, look at that beautiful splashing. I really just love, like, look how big she's grown so much too. I really enjoy IR26. Hi cutie, thank you for bringing me joy. And that's the top shelf. I see lots of room there where I could add more. I'll talk about that in the next video. Okay, and then moving over to what I have at the side of the door, so not getting any, maybe a little bit of evening sun. This Hoya, I can't remember the name, but everything will be on the screen. This one is one from a video where I talked about, that was just my bin opening. We have a automatic garbage bin. It had spider mites, and I think I did a video on how I treated it, which was really, I just wiped it down, and then you can see, and this is in Pond, but you can see this is the substrate that my beneficials come in. And she recovered beautifully. I took a couple of cuttings and added them in. You can see at the bottom there, they are starting to take off. And this is all, pretty much all new growth, I would say, from about here. So she recovered wonderfully. She just tucks into that little corner next to my coffee maker. And then here we have Hoya Kamuk, I think, with the nice black leaves, also doing amazing. And then in my flower box, let's just bring her down, is, I don't remember, but look at that beautiful splashing there. Did I label her? Oh, there we go, look. She's from Hallelujah. Look at that beautiful splashing. And she's doing great. I'm really happy with her. The challenge with the positioning of these guys is if we open the door, they do get a waft of cold, obviously. So we're conscious of that, but so far they've been doing pretty good. All right, then we have my stove, and then we have my little corner here. Actually, this is just a new plant I picked up, and she's blooming. The light is awful. Can I turn this on? It's a little better. And so I wanted to take some video, but the lighting was so bad I didn't. But here we have my beautiful Carnosa Crimson Queen round form. You can see she's much chubbier in her leaves than the regular Crimson Queen. She's beautiful too. And look at this leaf here. The variegation there is so interesting. You need a dust, my love. I promise I will do that soon. And then we have a very sad little cutting of my, what are you? Peperomia incana. You're giving me a new leaf though, so we're pretty happy about that. This was a vine of my pubic calyx that you just saw that I broke off accidentally, so I need to do something with her. There are so many roots in this little glass here. And then my multiflora, doing amazing, always blooming, or trying to bloom. She just finished blooming actually from all of these peduncles, so we might see some Christmas blooms from her. Here we have a little begonia leaf trying to do something. Lacanosa silver, sold to me as Lacanosa silver, but I get the Lacanosa and Croniana. I still need to kind of educate myself a little bit on how to tell the difference between those two, but I mean, this one is very, very silver. And you can see she's pulled back a little bit from that south window, but yeah, she is, like, of all my plants, she is the most silver. Now this is an interesting one. This is a hoya. It's Hoya Eves Rocherie, I think. And she has just really pretty, but these leaves are very firm. You know, lance-like leaves. It looks like she shouldn't be a hoya. The leaves look way more delicate in person than they actually are when you feel them. So she's doing good right there in my sunset cement, one of my sunset cement pots that I love. And then let's do the windowsill. So south-facing, big south-facing window here. So there is a little Rosita cutting, and that stem is the stem of a Rigida. She dropped the leaf, just popped her in here. This one, let's pull it down so we can have a proper look, is not sure, but we will add the name in like I always do. Beautiful. And new growth. Seems to have dried up a little bit. See what happens with her. Beautiful plant though. She happily sits here in my little dragonfly vase that I love. Hoya obscura there, and next to her is Hoya herscheliana. I looked back on my Instagram of how she looked a year ago. She was so tiny, and now look, she's just so big and beautiful. And herscheliana variegated. This is inner variegated, but she's lovely. In my Berg's clay pot. And my big, Quinn calls her Curly Whirly, my Hoya Carnosa compacta regalis, which is the inner variegated one. And I recently chopped her too so that I could do some rootings for the spring, and I gave Grania a cutting of her. But yeah, she's like 4 vines, but she's all kind of twirled on top of herself so that if I let her fall, she would touch here at the bottom. So I just she just holds herself up, but she's lovely. I love her. She's moving actually. I'm moving her into my study. In this very algae-ridden little glass jar is a Syngonium confetti, I think, or milk confetti. I struggle with these. This is all I have left. But she has some great roots, and this is new growth, so new leaves, so we'll see. And then next to her we have Hoya Quinquenovia. This is one I got from my very first import, and she's doing good. I didn't take care of them very well when they first, this plant in particular, when they first came in. I kind of just left them. And since I've moved her here and I've been upping her watering, so not letting her dry out completely, that's when she started giving me awesome growth. And next to her is a cutting that I must have had for 2 years that has literally done nothing for 2 years. And I mean, the leaves are still super firm. Obviously it was very sun stressed at one point, but look, I have increased her watering to twice a week, and I don't let her dry out completely, and she has started to grow, which is amazing. So hopefully by the summer we'll have a nice full pot of her. I'm laughing because this plant is such a joy. Hoya species Affinity Petuniae in pon, loving pon, and just such a fast grower for me. Again, she was a teeny cutting when I got her, and has just taken off this summer. And really, when I transferred her into pon, that's when she really took off. Yeah, I'm gonna let her trail, and I just think she's wonderful. Here is a little Heshkeliana outer variegated, you can see there, as opposed to the inner variegated. Doing great, new growth. She was very tiny, I think 2 or 3 leaves when I got her. And I got her in the summer, so I've not had her that long. Super nice little plant, I'm excited about her. And then next to her we have Hoya Commingiana, I think. Yes, I love the growth pattern on this one. Look, it's like shingling. It's so beautiful. And the round little, almost like coin-like leaves. So that is that window next to my sink. And then here we have just a mixed pot of Syngonium cuttings. Look at this one, so beautiful. This one. And then another Syngonium, I think this is Starlight, that is just in pon and doing really well. I really like, so delicate. And then this is a little Carry Splash that I got from Vandermeer's, and I chopped down. I put the 3 cuttings in pon, and this is the bottom cut that I'm just gonna see what happens with right here. That's that little condensate. I have a bottle of Bailey's here, and also I was doing plant chores, there's a pile of leaves. And then here we have a little Raven ZZ right there, and a pot of Syngonium, I think it's Maria or Plum Illusion, that is in between my south and east window. They really don't get a lot of light, but they're doing well. This, if I turn this around, you'll see it's completely bare on the back. It definitely reaches for this window, but it's doing okay. And then we have Latifolia Snow Queen. I just chopped her to give one of my customers a cutting, and she is going to go to the show to be sold. This is, or was, my mother plant. She's a beautiful grower with great variegation. And you can see some morning sun, but not very much. There is my import of my multiflora, I think it's called White Margins. And she is working on some new growth, so that's good to see. And she seems to be liking this window. She has lovely variegation. Here is, I forget the name, but it's stunning. Look at this. Ooh, look at that, it's beautiful. Very chill Hoya, this one. Doesn't need a lot of attention from me. And then in this window we have my philodendron Red Anderson. This is the latest leaf. And that is the one before it that looks beautiful. And she's probably working, she's always working on a new one. I do really do enjoy this plant. It's one of the philodendrons. I've been umming and ahhing about selling her, but I don't know, I think I'll hold on to her. We'll see. This is, oh, Kentiana. It's the Lori Lynn. She's not doing well. I need to put her in pon. She's been like this for a while, and those leaves are very bouncy, is how I explain it. But we'll see. I'll transfer and see how she does. And then in this corner we have my philodendron hederaceum variegated. So the variegated heart leaf, look at that. This plant has beautiful genetics. Like, every leaf is just stunning. And I am going to be chopping her shortly so I can take some cuttings to the show. These again have really come down in price. So take a look for one. So that is my east window. And then just below that we have my Florida Beauty, who is doing great. Look at the variegation here. We have a cutting from the round form of Crimson Queen. It is rooting nicely and working on new growth. Here under this glass thing, let me take that off actually, is a philodendron ring of fire. That is, I mean, it's a beautiful plant, but I find it needs way more humidity than I can give it, which means I have to keep it in a prop box, so it's not one that's going to stay in my collection for sure. She'll be going to the show. And then I cut my very large philodendron white princess, and she activated, this is the bottom cut, she activated a whole load of nodes, and now I have lots of little baby philodendron white princesses. This is either White Knight or White Wizard, I can't remember. I think it's, does it have pink petioles? You can't really tell because it's such a baby, but I think it's Wizard. We'll see. And then my totem that has just given me this new leaf here that I'm completely smitten with. If I pull you back, you can kind of see how this looks. And then here we have a little hoya that's struggling here. I think it's Thomsonii white flower. The hoya that is not struggling is my Shepherdii that has basically bloomed non-stop. She has peduncles on a lot of her nodes, sometimes 3, like that one has 3. And again, all the way up. I really love this hoya. So in the corner, there's the window. A little bit, I would say, of direct sun, but nothing to really call home about. She just does her quirky thing. And then right on the top of this shelf is my pride and joy. I love this plant. She's never leaving my collection. It's just a regular green form of heartleaf philodendron, or philodendron hederaceum. And she just loves life. Again, all her vines are twined around themselves at the top because she would touch all the way down here if I didn't do that. Very happy plant, very easy to care for, and super cheap. Yeah, you can pretty much find them everywhere, and I love them. So let's start. Let's just go here and then we'll pan down. You see how I have everything. I'm gonna count them and see how many's in this little collection here. Over to that window. And then if I continue, You can see those are my west windows. You can see how my dining room table looks. It often looks like this. There's lots of plants on there. There are new clothes for Quinny for winter. But I have Hoya on those two windows too. And there's our pantry with a door open. There is another philodendron hederaceum. There is a carnosa green. There is a painted lady that I still call it spider mite corner, but there haven't been spider mites on there for ages. And then these are plants that are on the island. Those are boxes. There are always boxes there that need to go to the recycling bin. And then we have another little east window here with some orchids and fungi in there. And then there's the fridge. And then we're back to here. Let me know if you enjoyed this tour and you'd like a further tour. I could just do the whole house, like room or half room by room. And thanks for sticking around if you stuck around to the end. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.